Good afternoon, and what is a bright, warm and sunny day. It is Friday 9th of June. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And a box to unbox, which came this morning. So let's find out what is in here. This let's come quite nice and easy. And removing the packaging. What I've got here, I can just show you, is, can't see that, it's a game called Go Ahead Punk, which was demonstrated at this, that's not helping, at this last weekend's UK Games Expo. I'd seen it demoed last year, but now they've got another year on the publisher, and is getting close to doing the Kickstarter. So here we go. So Go Ahead Punk, which promises it is from Next Dimension Games. 1 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes. It's ages 10 plus. This is a board game of hidden movement and actions. Inspired by 70s cinema, so you're thinking blaxploitation, the Dirty Harry movies, that sort of thing. So, and brilliant. Actually, dear Pookie, thank you for featuring our game. We're hoping you're going to enjoy Go Ahead Punk. We also thought it'd be good to provide you with this cover note to give you a picture of where the game is at with the prototype versus what the finished game will look like. So this is a prototype. And absolutely, the thing is, I am utterly amazed. They've actually put a little bit of a personalised note in here to me to explain what the game is going to look like when it's finished. So this is a prototype. So, you have basically, you've just got details of the finished, what they're aiming for with the Kickstarter, and essentially the finished product. That's fantastic. It's a really nice little touch. And then we've got like a hidden shield for, Go Ahead Punk. Go Ahead Punk. Movement tracker. So I'm just threading my way through this. And then for each of the characters, we've got like a health tracker, an inventory tracker, and a vehicle, and an indication of the special ability. So this is Catherine Lacey, health tracker. If she gets down to there, she needs to go to the ER. Here's all the gear she's got room for, the vehicle she's currently driving, and special ability intel. And that's not quite as easy to read as I think it should be. But this is a prototype. So, okay. So I'm just going to do the same for each of the other characters. This is special comment. Okay. This is Eddie Johnson. Frank Brannigan. So you're getting the idea essentially of what you're looking at is kind of archetypal characters you've seen in cop movies, cop shows from the 70s and quite actually for very early 80s. You can look at these characters and go, okay, they're inspired by those roles we've seen on the screen. Then we have Stinger. Obviously, he's an assassin with, he's got a rifle with a silencer there and a scope. So those are the characters you'll be playing. That's the business card. A little bit bent out of shape. We're going to have to do a bit of repackaging on this. Just sort out some Ziploc bags, because there are some loose cards in here. Essentially, just the rubber bands come off them. That's fine. You really got, basically, it's a game of cops versus robbers, as it were. and I'll get to that in a second. So we've got various different types of dice. So let's look at the cards. So we've got 2 decks, different cards. So Stinger turn. So choose. He's got he's got the various different actions he can take, and then he's got various keys. Actions again he can take. So for example, janitor key to various locations around the board. So various different types of keys, and then combat cards. So play 1 before rolling, 1 combat round only. If any damage is recorded, add a +1. Similarly, ranger uniform and sidearm, park location available for hit. So you can sort of see thematically how you're trying to get around. You're gaining advantages from this. For this character. So that's Stinger. You're trying to find him as he sneaks around the board, planning to assassinate people. And you've got basically quick guide as to what you're going to do on each turn. So take imagery card or play immediately. So essentially that's the sort of that's the key to the various types of cards you can draw. So that's one deck. Underneath that. So we have the cops. So we've got multiple reference cards for the cops. So they're going to choose one, move, play a held card, heal 2 from the ER, draw a card to keep or play, exchange inventory with the cops on the same space. And then we've got inventories such as essentially a SWAT assault rifle. Special tires, 7mm rifle. So lots of guns and things you would expect the cops to have, or cash for intel. So you essentially you've gone to your narc, and questioned them and bought some information from them. Combat cards. And there are several different types of cards in there. I mean, these are all kind of quite common. Okay, so those are the 2 sets of cards in there. Then we have, excuse me, you have the various tokens for the characters, and these are actual figures in the finished game. And you might have to indicate a hit. So you've got those for the various characters. And then you've got equipment like this. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So, for example, you've got you've got a law anti-tank missile there, or pump action shotgun, an indication that number of dice, but these slots into those forget your okay. So these slot into here, so that takes up 2 spaces. But then you might also have access to a pistol, and that might go in there as well. So you can see how that's quite a nice idea. It gives a bit of flexibility and also limitations, almost in what you can. It's not just 8 different items, it's what you've got carrying capacity for. That's a nice touch. Let's see if there's anything else in there. Yeah, so you might carry that, and then you've found a police radio. There we go. And you're fully equipped until you either use it or lose it, or exchange it for something else. So, and then we've got also the vehicles. So the vehicles, so Stinger doesn't have a vehicle, but the cops do. So, you know, the cops might have a. Let's have a look. 1968, 6.4 V8. I'm going to say there's probably a Mustang. Excuse me if I get that wrong. I'm not an expert by any means on vehicles of the period. And that slots in there like that. So again, it's a nice kind of physical touch to the gameplay. So what have we got next? Let's just put all those away. So, okay. Just going to show you the map before we get onto the rule book. So the map folds out. Yep. Here we go. And we've got like an atypical kind of police area. This could be San Francisco, for example, or you know, it might be New York. But essentially, it's an American city. But he's being stalked by Stinger. And that folds down, that's quite sturdy. And then we come to the rule book, which runs to, it's 16 pages long, but it's not overly, it's not particularly detailed, and as I say, it's not densely packed with text. So, okay, there we go. And so it's San Francisco. I sit corrected. It's San Francisco. A city under siege. A maniac is on the loose. Codename Stinger. Killing at random. He doesn't want money. He's enjoying himself. Standing in his way, 3 of SFPD's finest. They're tasked to choose to close the net while it's still time. They might be stopped the killing or a last resort to prevent his escape. Inspired by classic cops. 70s cop cinema, Go Ahead Pug is a one versus all hidden movement game of cut and mouse stealth and all guns blazing action. So it doesn't. So my one more comment is it doesn't say that on the cover on the cover of the box I've got, but it will, I presume, on the production, essentially the version that will come to Kickstarter. So here we have San Francisco's finest, and then the villain. And then you've got a guide to set up. So as you can see, it's quite big and bright and easy. They're really got thought of the sort of, like, you know, making it as visual as possible. And underneath, a nice touch, you've got a nice shot of the San Francisco skyline. And preparation for both the villain setup and then the cop setup. And then explaining how the board is made up of. Okay, so you've got a couple of pages on that, and then you've got the player boards, and I would say that might have been more useful. It'd been over sort of like a double page spread just for ease, but nevertheless, playing the game. So that's going to go through all the process of playing the game, covering basically step by step. We would cover movement. And then finding the killer, how to deal with him, and then phase 2, the escape. So essentially you're tracking down Stinger and he's trying to escape. At the end, combat. And even, you know, the rules are 16 pages long, but essentially, you know, you've got 2 pages of combat examples there, just to show you how it's done. That's a nice touch. And then we've got card and dice reference here. Again, nice and easy at the back. And then credits are there. And then on the back page, you've got inventory and helpful items. So, yeah, even though this is a pre-production value version, this is really quite nicely put together. I mean, it's not perfect because it's a pre-production value, but everything is here to play. It's all clearly laid out. I really like that. I mean, it's nice touches in there. Sort of like, you know, you've got scope in here to, you know, individualize the weapons you're carrying. the vehicle you're arming. Then you've got special abilities, and yeah, all very nicely done. So let's just pack all this away. So I'm going to give this a review fairly quickly because I know the Kickstarter is coming up. That's what they are asking for. And of course this is for the Stinger player. You can see him, literally haunting, haunting the city of San Francisco, holding it to hostage, as it were. And that's a great touch. You've got this figure looming over the city, even though you can't see him. And then, of course, you have this inclusion of that. Just the notes for me personally. I think it's Mark. I think it's Mark at Dimension Games. I'm really quite impressed by that. That's a lovely touch. And I'm looking forward to playing this and bring it to the table. A bit of 70s cop action. Yeah, it's Next Dimension Games. Coming soon to a Kickstarter near you, and a review at on my blog. So, thanks for watching another unboxing in the Nook. If you enjoyed this, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a box containing a book or game, in this case a board game, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching. I'll be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. And all I can say is thank you for Next Dimension Games and Mark for sending me the review copy. And of course, go ahead, punk. Bye for now.